Aloha, aloha kakahiaka. It's 11 o'clock in the morning here in Honolulu, Hawaii. My name is James Kapaili'i Scott. I'm currently the chair of the board of governors of the East-West Center. This morning, we welcome over 600 of you who have registered for this virtual inauguration of our new president, Suzanne Vares-Lum. Collectively, although you can't see one another, you should know that collectively we represent a vibrant community of stakeholders and supporters that includes the East-West Center staff, alumni, its board, as well as members of the local business community, counselor corps, government officials, military, State Department, academic institutions, our think tank partners, and leaders throughout the United States, Asia, and the Pacific. Today, we mark an historic moment as we formally introduce and welcome the first woman and Native Hawaiian president of the East-West Center. We also use this moment to celebrate the seamless transition of presidential leadership, signifying change, but also representing continuity. So on behalf of the community, especially the board, we want to thank Richard Vuylsteke for his leadership and his important contributions while trying to position East-West Center for its next era of leadership. The Hawaiian lauhala mat would be a symbol of this leadership transition, as you're going to see in the next few minutes. Leaves from the sturdy hala tree, forming strands that are strong and enduring, but also intertwined, interdependent, holding this institution together through a shared strength and a common purpose. In this moment, we also reaffirm the East-West Center's vital voice and role in making the planet safer, closer, healthier, and more just. And we do this through our thought leadership, our convening power of people and ideas, while serving as an invaluable resource for leaders and policymakers in this Indo-Pacific century. So before the exchange of responsibility ceremony, and before we hear from our president, I want to ask Kahu Kordell Kekoa to offer a blessing for this occasion. Kahu is a proud Kamehameha graduate who has returned to his alma mater as its chaplain. It's Kahu. Kahu, please.
E ke akua mai, o e ho'okipa mai, e mālama mai. Mahalo ke akua me ke aloha pumehana, e mālama ho'o mai kākou he malumau. Ke akua, as we stand here at East-West Center, ke akua, your aloha spirit as leadership, as our alakai. We make transitions, we make changes for a better East-West, for a better connection, for a better honua, for a better world. May aloha spirit be pono, now and forevermore, with all of these items that we bring together our leadership change. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. Susie, I'm going to ask you to come forward at this time. Susie brings with her a beautiful mailele, and that mailele is representative of 3 strands. Now those 3 strands represents for us as Hawaii, protection. So we want to make sure here at the East-West Center and all the values that we have been working on and living in as leaders, those values will continue to move forward. Hawaiians would use this in cooking. So this is nourishment in what we're doing today. Hawaiians also use this beautiful mailele as one of those strands, is a meaning of protection. So for all those reasons, the 3 of you hold that beautiful mailele that blends us together. I'm going to do a blessing over that mailele. As the 3 of them hold that maile, again, it represents all of the aloha that we have for the connections from our East-West Center around the world, being a better world, but it begins with people like you. So Dr. Vuylsteke, thank you so much for your aloha. Dr. Jim Scott, thank you so much for your aloha. And Susie, now as your reign of leadership begins, again, it's not about you, it's about us. And so we do this blessing. Please receive this blessing today. E ko mako makula ni piha me ke aloha. Mahalo ya oi no ko launa puna mai me mako i ke ala o oi ko mako haku a me ko mako ola. Ke akua me aloha spirit be pono now and forevermore. We bring goodness, we bring life, we bring joy to all the goodness here at East West Center from this day forward. Amene no kia kua pau. Amene. We're going to take a quick photo, so mahalo. Now, as Dr. Scott mentioned, we have a beautiful lauhala mat. That mat, beautifully laid out, is a place where our Hawaiian people could rest. So it is with the East-West. We bring together the idea of resting together, of dreaming together, of looking to the better world in the future. Dr. V, would you go ahead and grab that beautiful mat, please? Dr. Scott, you can go ahead and let go of that lei. The two gentlemen, hold on to that lei. Yes. Just hold on to, hold on to the mat. Thank you. Dr. Susie Vares is going to now wrap that beautiful piece of tapestry with this blessing of this beautiful mailele. As she wraps that together today, this now becomes the gift of the transition of our leadership here at East West Center. So now kia kua ia aloha po mai kai me ke aloha po me hana e malama ho'o mai kako he malumau. May aloha spirit be pono from this day forward. Amene no kia kua pau. Amene, amene, amene. You two gentlemen stay right here. You know, as Susie resumes her responsibility, it's very important for us to know that she's a human being, she's a mom, she's a wife, and in those capacity, that's her number one role. So I'm going to ask her family, if you would please come up here and stand with them for just a moment. Just stand right there. And let's take one more photo. I'm going to ask you guys to come around. You two stay there. Come right around on the front and just hold on to that. Yep, just like that. So now kia kua ho'opo mai kai again, all of us with our hands holding on to this beautiful mat. Again, it represents us being together as one ohana in support of Susie's leadership. So may aloha spirit be good now and forevermore. You two gentlemen, you may go back and sit down. And now kia kua as a ohana, we stand together with aloha for the East West Center and all the aloha that you have for us. With much aloha. Amene no kia kua pau. Amene, amene, amene. You two can go ahead and let go of that. And Susie, you can go ahead and place that right on top of that table. And thank you, you may be seated. And now kia kua ho'opo mai kai. Once again, I just give a blessing over this lauhala roll that represents all that is in this place. May your goodness be pono now and forevermore. Thank you, Susie. Mahalo, everyone, and aloha.
Aloha mai kako, a warm aloha to all of you who are here present and those virtually. Mahalo ke akua, mahalo Kahu Kordell Kekoa for this wonderful blessing that showed how symbolic and important this day is. And this place, the East West Center. I'm so grateful for the many hands who are here to help to make today happen. Mahalo nui. Mahalo piha, Chairman Scott, and the entire Board of Governors, the Foundation Board, alumni, friends, staff, and participants for your continuous commitment to the vital mission of this center. Mahalo nui also to Dr. Richard Vuylsteke and your family for the 5 years of commitment and dedication after leaving some very important positions and all the things you've done. Your diligent service in leading the East-West Center has had a profound impact and set the conditions to allow me to continue forward with the great work you and the East-West Center team have accomplished. Mahalo nui to my husband for your unwavering support and encouragement as I take on this new role, and also to my daughters, Connie, who's here, and Diana, who's abroad, and family, friends, and mentors for being here to participate in this special blessing. A special mahalo to all those who registered to attend today's event, including our congressional, state, territorial, and government leaders, State Department leaders, ambassadors, consuls general, former heads of state, admirals and generals, and a special mention to Admiral Phil Davidson and Admiral and Ambassador Harry Harris, who are signing in from across the Pacific. Also, mahalo to our business leaders, community leaders, and people of Hawaii, allies and partners in the region and around the world. Many of you present today have supported the core mission of the East-West Center over long and sometimes lean years. Thank you. We are bonded by the East-West Center by land, people, culture, and a common cause. We acknowledge our kupuna and the original inhabitants of this aina, where we gather, our Kanaka Maoli. And I'm honored to receive this mat, a symbol of my East-West Center leadership responsibilities, and I inherit the stewardship of an institution with a storied history and multidisciplinary scope of purpose. Storied indeed. Many world figures have walked these grounds, including Nobel laureates, prime ministers, and presidents, starting with Lyndon Johnson, who as a senator helped to shepherd East-West Center's founding legislation to fruition. And most recently, as a young child, President Barack Obama played often in the Japanese garden when his mother and stepfather were students at the center. An essential part of the center's international reputation is its world-class campus itself, designed by legendary architect I.M. Pei, who also crafted such famous buildings as the Glass Pyramid, annex at the Louvre, and the Bank of China Tower in Hong Kong. Over the years, the center has been instrumental in founding some of Hawaii's most enduring and beloved institutions, including the Polynesian Voyaging Society and the Hawaii Film Festival. As a key convener, the East-West Center also played a central role in bringing the largest gathering of heads of state in Hawaii's history to Honolulu for 2011 APEC Summit, as well as the most important conservation science gathering, the IUCN World Conservation Congress in 2016. Over the years, the East-West Center community has demonstrated again and again the depth of heart and aloha. In the wake of the Great Indian Ocean tsunami in 2004, East-West Center became the first institution in the United States to establish a relief fund, helping to raise more than $500,000 to assist victims of the disaster, an effort that was spearheaded by our own students from across the region. East-West Center also had a tremendous impact abroad. As just one example of the many examples, millions of Cambodians credit the East-West Center-based Asian International Justice Initiative with keeping them informed about their country's historic Khmer Rouge tribunal trials through Facing Justice, a weekly primetime TV show that was aired at the time. This was all made possible because of the community leaders, past presidents, and board and foundation members, and each and every one of you. You are critical to the East-West Center Foundation, and I do not take lightly this obligation to weave a new chapter into our shared history. I am keenly aware that I am standing on the shoulders of past and present giants. With your help right now, we together can advance the East-West Center's mission that is critical to ensuring peace and prosperity of Hawaii, the United States, the region, and the world. The world's center of gravity, geopolitically and economically, has shifted to our region. The Indo-Pacific, where the East meets West, matters now as never before. We face unprecedented challenges: environmental damage and climate change, authoritarian influence and strained alliances, corruption, disease, and pandemics with enormous consequences that will reverberate around the globe. But at the East-West Center, we realize these challenges can be met if our solutions are rooted in authentic people-to-people understanding and culturally informed expertise. That is why our mission, using the tools of cooperative study, research, and dialogue to promote understanding in our region, has never been more important. And I'm honored to take lead of an institution that has an unparalleled impact in so many ways, training and educating some of the region's brightest stars, sharing essential research and analysis on critical policy problems in the Indo-Pacific, and celebrating the region's extraordinary arts and culture, and bringing together journalists, educators, policymakers, civil society leaders, and other leading thinkers from every country in this region and around the globe. Thousands of East-West Center participants have gone on to become critical change makers in their home and on the stage, like Philippine journalist Maria Ressa, an alumni of several East-West Center international media conferences held abroad, who last year was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for her courageous efforts to defend media freedom. East-West Center researchers have been leading the search for climate change knowledge and policy solutions in our region, including serving as lead authors of the Hawaii Pacific section of the U.S. government's National Climate Change Assessment. Through a range of projects and activities such as the groundbreaking Asia Matters for America hub in the center's Washington, D.C. office, it offers timely analysis and insight into Indo-Pacific issues to decision makers, policy representatives, international diplomats, and the global press in our nation's capital. The Pacific Islands Development Program, founded at the East-West Center in 1980 by heads of state from across the Pacific, is one of the only U.S.-based organizations that participates in leading multilateral dialogues and summits. The Pacific Island Development Program also serves as the official secretariat of the Pacific Islands Conference of Leaders, the only multilateral summit in the region that includes leaders of Pacific territories and states, along with independent nations. During the pandemic, while some of the East-West Center staff, such as our courageous colleagues in education, housing, and facilities, continued on-site frontline work to help to ensure the safety of our campus residents, others center-wide made remarkable agile shifts online, just at the leadership of our own latest president, Dr. Richard Vuylsteke, producing more than 250 virtual events over the past 2 years with upwards of 115,000 total viewers. An unexpected benefit of this is that many of the programs were able to reach more people in more places than ever before. So let me share with you what I believe is most remarkable about the East-West Center. It begins with this lauhala mat, a fitting and prized symbol representing a vision of what currently makes the East-West Center so valuable to this region and to what this institution can be in the future. First, the East-West Center is about bringing diverse people and perspectives together, just as the weaver brings together many different fibrous strands and turns them into something beautiful, strong, valuable. The center weaves together a community with our staff, students, participants. In turn, these alumni are woven into a greater community across the region where stronger bonds across culture, nationalities, and perspectives come together. The weaving done here at the center is truly unique. 48 countries are represented in our student body at some point in time over the past 5 years, with 77 different disciplines and areas of study, living together, sharing perspectives, passions, and pursuits, and a lifelong friendships are established, as you will hear from the many stories. And families, like that of President Barack Obama, were first interwoven together here. These center-woven connections strengthen personal and national capacity to understand and effectively engage with each other. What we weave here strengthens our U.S. alliances and enriches our lives. Second, the East-West Center's strength begins with the shared values and aspirations. It starts at the Piko. As you saw in the invitation for today, it said, in weaving, you begin at the center. Ka'ulana'a ana ika piko. That unique center is what guides our weaving. It is the belly button of our universe. So what is our center's Piko? It is the shared values of respect, equality, service, quietly working towards peace on a person-to-person level. It is our all of society focus, harnessing research, education, and training across sectors and cultures and professions. And it is our common aspirations, what we work to accomplish together, combating the effects of the pandemic and climate change, supporting effective governance, public accountability, and human rights, and creating new knowledge and fostering new ideas to promote freedom, prosperity, peace, and dignity. Third, the East-West Center's future is based on a solid foundation of what we have accomplished and learned from our past. Weaving is a skill passed down from those who came before us. The knowledge used to make this mat was shared over generations. And if the knowledge is nurtured and developed, it will grow with us into the future. Just as the mat weavers passed down their knowledge, I have been passed a rich history. The East-West Center is an institution with an incredible memory and history from which to learn. Lastly, this is a gathering place. This mat, now finished, as the Kahu mentioned, is woven together as a symbol of what the center aspires to be. It's a place of meeting of people from all places and walks of life. We sit on a mat together, bringing no preconceived notions. It's a place of equality, a place of listening. Only from its centered place can we create new understanding and new, stronger bonds throughout the region. As former Senator Spark Matsunaga stated a few years after the center's founding, he said, quote, "Here is provided the common ground, the meeting place, where men and women from the East and the West share learning, interchange technical knowledge and culture, and benefit from living side by side. The center is," he continued his quote, "is the best investment in peace that this nation of ours has made since the end of World War II." In closing, imagine a state-of-the-art, world-class center for inclusive U.S. and Indo-Pacific engagement that advances peaceful, just, and prosperous communities. A go-to institution that for thought leadership and capacity development on critical challenges facing the Indo-Pacific region. A nexus for sustaining and enhancing positive and productive relations between the United States, Asia, and the Pacific Island nations. An institute of hope for us all. Mahalo piha to the Board of Governors for placing your trust and confidence in me to weave these strands together and uplift this meeting place. Thank you all for your support as we begin this work together to remember our common humanity, to remember that we have more in common than not, to remember that we have a responsibility to educate, to train the next generation of leaders, to ensure a peaceful and prosperous life for us all. I look forward to reinforcing old bonds and to building new bridges to the future you and I and we together have woven with the fabric of trust and understanding. Mahalo nui loa.